Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up, It's your boy Rabino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes. Welcome.
What it do?
Ladies and gentlemen, you're tuned into the UpNUp Podcast. I'm your host, Rabino.
And I'm DJ man.
How you doing, boss?
I'm good, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Got some good energy today, right?
Yeah, I got good energy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we got some gifts in the room, right? Definitely, I'm feeling good. It's a good vibe. Hopefully, everybody else in the room doing good? Y'all good?
Yeah.
Thumbs up?
There you go.
Okay, cool. Solid. That's good. You always got to make sure you check on everybody, right?
Yeah.
For those of you first-time listeners, this is the UpNUp Podcast. This is the podcast where we're focused on cultivating culture, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the goal, right? We're out here making sure we can provide a space and opportunity for, you know, individuals, groups, movements, right? Movers, hustlers, people who are just out here carving lanes for themselves, but also being representation for those who need it, right? Coming behind them. Now, I'm always gonna shout out the, you know, obviously the first-time listeners, but the consistent supporters, viewers, you know, of the movement, but not just the movement, but also the guests that we have on the show. We want to shout you guys out as well.
Yep.
The encouragement and the love is felt, right?
Always.
Right? We gonna give it back too, right?
Yeah.
Definitely in many ways.
Yeah.
To continue supporting the podcast, please make sure to follow us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify. You can just type in UpNUp Podcast, and that's where you can find it, right?
Yep.
Also, make sure to follow us as well. If you're not already, make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at _TheUpNUp, right?
Yep.
Right? Am I missing anything else?
Nah, you ain't, bro.
Yeah, man, definitely. And also, as well, to get your merch as well, make sure to follow us at _UpNUp Clothing as well, or visit UpNUpClothing.com, right?
Yep.
I'm feeling good, man. Right?
Me too.
And just to kind of give some insight for the first-time listeners out there, you know, we bring guests up on this show to provide context, right? And that's pretty much the goal, right?
Yeah.
Provide context to success, right? Because everybody thinks everything's overnight, which isn't true, right?
Yeah.
And today's guest, you know, I would say is definitely a true representation for what it means to not only invest in your dreams, but more importantly, invest in yourself, right?
I like that.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I got more, all right? I would say she's definitely a true culture cultivator who's keeping everything she's doing on the up and up, right?
Yep.
To give you guys some insight on the work she has been doing and will continue to do, she is the owner and founder of Sweetpeas Cakes. It's a service that provides amazing custom cakes for various types of clients as well as occasions, right?
Yeah.
You name it. She's pulling up, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of give also a little insight on the mission, which is pretty dope. It's really, you guys are really aiming to build, from what I'm seeing here, imaginative, beautiful, custom cakes which create lasting memories and for friends and family, right?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
I love it. And you know, again, it's someone who's putting forth a great demonstration, right? As well as, you know, being a woman in business, which I think is very, very important, right? I love talking about it. So let's just get to it, right?
Get to it.
Our guest is none other than the boss lady herself, Jennifer Jones. Can we get a round of applause? Yeah. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not sure how familiar you are with the show, right? We usually start the show off with the quote of the day, right? Just to kind of get the vibe right, get the mood right, set the tone. I don't tell the quote stuff. This guy right here.
Okay.
Finally, I got it back.
Quote man.
Shout out to Justin. He did the last one. But,
Yeah, for sure.
I got it back now. So the quote of the day today is, if you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have the ingredients in the right proportion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who said that quote?
Elon Musk.
What?
Boss.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you run that back?
Yeah.
I gotta catch that. I think I was snoozing on that one. My bad.
If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have the ingredients in the right proportion.
Yeah. Shout out Elon Musk. That's a good quote.
Yeah.
I see what you did there too. You kind of like aligned it with the guest. Okay.
Come on.
Okay, quote man.
Yeah.
Okay. Never doubt the quote man, right?
Never doubt the quote man.
And Jennifer, so obviously, as you can tell, we bring in quotes that are great quotes, but also they tie into the guest story. And for you, obviously, you know, you're doing a lot of work currently, right? But like I said, we really want to provide context, right, for the listeners out there so they can understand. So let's kind of take it back for you, like kind of where did you grow up? Like where did it start for you, and where was that upbringing? Where did that start?
So I grew up in California. I've always had a love for food and baking, and I really enjoy art. So for me, like cake decorating is something that encompasses all those things together. So I love doing it. It's been my passion for as long as I can remember. I professionally started doing it 10 years ago, but I've been baking in the kitchen and like just throwing stuff together since I was like a little girl.
So did you have any like other like early interests as well?
For me, I've always been an artist, so I just love like creating things, working with my hands. So that's pretty much how it started for me. And I just kept it going. Yeah.
What was it like growing up in California? What part of California specifically did you?
SoCal area.
SoCal, okay.
So LA. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm always curious about, obviously, like currently, you know, being an entrepreneur is definitely a grind, right? So it's a job. But I'm always curious to know, like, kind of where, like, maybe some things you may have, or things that may have influenced you when you were younger, that may have planted seeds, like maybe, you know, people in your life that you saw doing it or whatever the case is. Like, was there people like that in your life?
For me, I think I get my creative spark from my father. Like, my dad was an artist. And my grandma, she always used to bake a lot too. So I think it kind of, like, they both inspired me to go in that direction. And I just love food, so I think
That's it, right? For real.
So I think that's like why I'm doing this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm looking at one right now. You brought the cake for us as well too. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Man. I always love when guests bring gifts, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, always.
But so obviously it seemed like you had a passion for it, right? But I think, like, you know, when you're younger, you tend to like have hobbies and things that you like to do. And I'm not exactly sure at what point is it for people when they realize I can actually possibly do this as a career, right? Like what was before? Did it instantly happen, or like, I'm sure you probably tried your hand at something else and then maybe, you know?
For me, it's funny because I've never really like done anything else. It's always been like cooking and baking and just art. Like I've always loved art.
Consistent.
So
that's dope.
And I really haven't gotten tired of it yet. Like, I feel like as an artist, like, you can always push yourself to be better and you can grow. So for me, I don't know, like, that's just how it happened. Yeah.
I feel you. So, Sweetpeas. How, like, what would you, I mean, he kind of explained it a little bit, but what would you say, like, you guys' position is? What is it? Like, how would you explain it if somebody came up and asked you, what is it?
I would say my, like, mission of my business is to provide, like, memories for people. Like, I want their cake to be something special that they're never going to forget. Like, it's that one cake that they're just like, wow, like, I can't believe, like, she made this. And, it doesn't even look real. Like, I love that feeling. People, enjoying my stuff. And
I love that I love that you consider it like art.
Yeah,
you know
for
what I
me
mean?
It is art. Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure people are like, you bake cakes, okay, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are just like, oh, that's cool, you're a cake decorator. Cake artist. That's what I am.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's dope. And I think it's important to acknowledge it as an art form too. You know what I mean? And also, like, the fact that you have been putting in all these years, I think it's important as well, right?
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know, I've learned this thing over time. Actually, recently. Where, you know, it was something Jerry Seinfeld said, where he was talking about when you're in your craft, the amount of like years you've actually put into that craft is how old you are in that craft, essentially, right? So it's a way to kind of keep you humble and keep you learning. But the fact that you've been doing it since you were a kid,
I definitely like.
You've grown in the cake.
Yeah,
in the cake
I'm
industry,
surprised like I haven't gotten tired of it yet. I just love to do it so much.
Definitely.
It is a lot of work though. It's really a lot of work. Like people don't even understand how much work.
We got to make them understand, right?
For
real. Even me, I was like, damn, it's crazy. It's like an industry I never really like thought about, but it's like
it's a pretty like big industry. Like, I think it's really popular. Yeah, everybody always eats cakes.
So obviously, I want to kind of get into like that moment, right? At that aha moment when you're like, all right, let me build this company. right? Because that's essentially what it is, right? And for a lot of people, they're good at things. They may have people who tell them that they're good at things, and they also may be making money off it, but they probably haven't fully committed to saying, this is my contribution, this is what I'm building, right?
Yeah.
What was that moment for you? Like, what was that aha moment? Like, when you're like, you know what? Forget this. I'm building this as a company, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not just doing what I love to do anymore.
Yeah, I think for me, it was when I decided to leave my job. I think I was making pretty good money for a cake decorator, but like there was a lot of like freedoms that I didn't have that I wanted. I wanted to be more like valued for what I was doing. I know I could probably make way more than what I was making. I wanted to spend more time with my daughter. I wanted to just, be with her. She's really young, so
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was definitely like an aha moment for me. I was like, I've been doing this for so long. Like, why can't I do it for myself? Why do I have to, put my skills into somebody else's business?
Yeah.
And, make money for them.
Yeah.
Like, I can do it myself.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was definitely the moment for me. Like,
That's dope.
left my job, or like right before that.
Yeah.
And then I left my job.
I like that you had a plan though. A lot of people don't just jump shit.
No, you can't do that.
Have
Yeah,
a
for
plan.
sure. Like me, like I definitely like did my time. Like I said, I've been doing this for like 10 years, so I think I was ready.
Yeah.
Like, for sure. And I knew. And becoming a mom also helped with that too. Like when you have a kid, like you kind of like want to focus on like providing for them and just becoming a better person. And being a boss. So.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Really.
Companies are babies, right?
Yeah.
Like, as you're building them, right? So,
And making that step, it's like, that's why I respect the whole, like every entrepreneur, because it's not easy, So, like, what would you say were some like challenges, if any, that you faced, and you kind of like, what did you take away from it?
I would say for me, like right now, the biggest challenge that I have is that, wearing a lot of different hats. Like for me, like, when you start a business, it's not all just like fun and decorating cakes. Like you have to wear in like taxes and licensing and paperwork and you have to deal with the customers, you have to do emails, and it's a lot. It's not just like fun and in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But that's like the biggest thing that I'm learning, that like the work is just growing. Like it's so much.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth it though. Like
for sure. Well, I think you touched on some really important things too. I think with the fact that you're able to be an owner, right? I think that's a buzzword now. Everybody's like, I want to own ownership. And it sounds cool, right? But it's like, you got to also understand what type of position it puts you in, right? Like, ownership comes with responsibility. And I think people don't see that side of it. So I'm glad you touched on it. That's a good question for sure. But again, like he mentioned about the challenges, we like to do with this show is obviously provide some insight, right? So for the guests, or not the guests, but the listeners and viewers who may be aspiring, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who may not specifically want to go into the cake decorating industry, but they probably want to go into the food service industry, whether it be a food truck, whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
What are some tips you have for people who jump into something and are at that stagnant point, right? Where it feels like things aren't really in motion as they once were, or, you kind of hit a roadblock. What are some tips you have for people when they face those type of moments?
I mean, I feel like when you start your own business, there's always something to do. Like you're going to be so busy. If you don't have orders, then there's like paperwork. So I don't think you really like hit too many roadblocks, because if you really care about your business, you're always going to be working on it. So
Gotcha.
I think that the most important thing is just to make sure that you're passionate about what you're doing, because then you're always going to want to make it better. Like for me, like if I don't have orders, like it'll be slow sometimes. I'm like, okay, well, let me work on my website. Let me like, I don't know, try to figure out marketing or something. So I think that, like just focus on whatever it is that you need to do to make your business better, and just
stay
work.
busy.
Yeah,
there's always something you can do.
Yeah, there's always something.
I believe that.
I just organize my stuff, organize my cake decorations, clean.
You gotta ask yourself, can I do more? Right?
Yeah.
Like you will always find something to do.
Yeah.
At all times.
For sure. One thing that was pretty interesting to me is when you said you realize your worth as an artist.
Yes.
I feel like I'm not like a super artist or anything, but I feel like a lot of artists kind of might struggle with that. Like let's say like a painter paints something, he's like, man, I don't even know how much to sell this for. People like it, blah blah blah. So Can you just elaborate on that? Because I feel like that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because as an artist, like a lot of people, they don't necessarily like respect that profession.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to realize that art is sort of like a luxury item.
Yeah.
So like you buy art or whatever, whether it be like cake or food, like it's all art. So it's not necessarily like a necessity. So I think it's important for artists to realize that what they're selling, what they're doing is like a luxury item. Not a luxury item, but like it's something that not everybody needs.
It's definitely unique,
so
for sure.
It's special.
Yeah.
So I think like that's what I kind of mean.
How do
realize
you go about price? How do you go about pricing? Like, I think this applies. That's a good question because it applies to like not just artists, like but all different types of freelance work. You know, like how do you go about creating your price points? Because I'm sure you probably had designs where you're like, oh, this is worth X amount of dollars, and someone comes at you like, blah blah. How do you deal with that?
It's really hard. I get frustrated. And like I want to say things that I probably shouldn't say. But I think like over time, like you realize like what you're worth as an artist, and you realize like all the hard work you put into it. For me, like I came to a point where like I know that if a customer asks me for a certain cake, like I know I can do it, and I can do it even better than what they want. So like when I give somebody my price, all of those things are in that price. Like it's my experience, it's my ingredients, it's my time, it's my knowledge. So it kind of encompasses like everything when I think about prices, all the hours that I think I spend on it, and it just comes from like having experience and knowing like what you're doing. Yeah. So
definitely. And there's a lot of misinformed people out here anyway. Right?
A lot of people are like, oh, like it's just cake. Why so much? Gosh, if
only you do.
do.
That's why I think it's important to document. Like whatever profession you're in, if you just document, you should start that. You should start like a web series or something. Just like
I film a lot of my stuff, but it's not enough because like people don't want to see me washing dishes for like 3 hours. You know what I mean? That's part of the job. And it's a big part of the job. But like people don't realize that when you charge somebody for a cake, you're charging for dishes. You're washing dishes. You're charging for cleaning up the kitchen. Like it's so much that goes into it because it's my time. Like I'm not gonna do stuff for free, obviously.
That's the side of it. Like I think you know, being an entrepreneur, jumping out on that limb, like having an idea is cool. Right? It's fun, but then when you start like executing and you realize the things you have to execute, your idea starts to become like less fairy tale like and it starts to become like more real. Right? But it's still a great idea. It's just like you have to bring it down to the ground level and really address it. So I like that you're touching on that as well. What was that first sale like? That first like transaction?
Well, I mean that was a long time ago.
Okay.
So
I'm always curious though. Well, like when you launched your company, and you know, I guess what was that like?
So like when I first started doing cakes, I would do them for like family and friends, like on the side. And in the beginning, it was a struggle for me to like price my cakes like for the right amount. So like I would be up till like 3-4 in the morning working on a elaborate cake, and just putting everything I had all into it, and I'd only make like $20 or something like that.
Oh damn!
Like, but it's because like in the beginning I didn't really realize like what I was supposed to do. Like I was like, I kind of had that mindset like, oh, it's just a cake. I'm just gonna charge them for the ingredients. I didn't think about like paying myself for how many hours it was gonna be. Like I didn't think about all this stuff. And then on top of that, I wasn't really confident with myself, like in my skills. So my first like couple of orders, like I used to be like, oh my gosh, like, this is too much. Like, but I still loved it though. For some reason I still loved it, even though I was like losing money probably. But
it's about value too.
So now definitely I know.
You know your worth.
For sure.
We all should.
I know now. I definitely learned.
What are some things that you learned about the cake industry before? Or before you act,
so
she's like, I've been in it forever.
I've worked at a lot of different bakeries over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Things that I've learned, I think, that nobody will really like respect what you do as much as you would yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was in a lot of jobs where I would just give my everything. Like, I would try so hard just because I loved doing it.
Yeah.
And, like, what I was getting paid was, like, nothing. And I felt like, you know, why am I doing all this stuff? And, like, people aren't, like, I'm not making, like, what I feel like I should be making.
Yeah.
So I think, like, in the cake industry or baking or food industry, it's really hard for, you know, people starting out because it oftentimes, like, the pay is so, like, it's really bad. So one thing, that's one thing that I've learned is that I guess you have to do your time first.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, you can start making more money.
Yeah.
It's not all about money.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's important.
But that's a sign. It is money is a sign of like respect too. In business, right? Like in terms of how much people are willing to offer you.
It's like you could be really passionate about something, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. So. And I think it speaks to just providing value. Like you said in your, you know, in the work you do, you're actually a part of a lot of monumental moments in people's lives. Like, they're not going to forget those moments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, you're in a really good space, right, to provide value. Because if you provide value in that situation, when you know all eyes are on, you know, that family or whatever the case is, then you know value is worth way more, and it opens so many doors, right? Like, you provide value one good time, that one time you provided value, you know, because like. In other industries, you can slack off, right? The margin for error is like a lot bigger, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk about that? Like, in the food industry, like, what's your margin for error like? Cause
nothing. Like, you can't mess up. Like, you can't. Yeah. I mean, people are gonna get mad. You know, money's gonna be lost on all ends.
I imagine
it's really tough. Yeah, because I mean, and especially I think for like bigger orders like wedding cakes and. Because, like, you can't really mess up.
Weddings. That's like one of the homies.
Because it's just one day for your life. Yeah.
Like the homie Reese, he said he one of our friends, he was hired to be a photographer, and then took photos of someone's wedding, and then his camera got stolen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And you have to apologize. But like you're right, you're a part of shout out Reese, man. I have to throw that
Shout out Reese, bro.
But that brought me back to that because it was just like you're a part of these moments, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that you're able to deliver on these moments, that should build confidence, right?
Yeah.
Now, I do also want to get into the fact that, you know, obviously you're a woman and you're in business for yourself, right? And, you know, we're men, so we may not have the perspective or the insight of what it's like to be a woman, and a Black woman at that, to go into business for yourself. And so, like, is there certain things that you may have encountered, like obstacles that you may have faced, where you realize, okay, you know, this is something that I gotta deal with, right? Maybe others don't have to. Or maybe not yet.
Let me think.
Because just in general, I think it's really off balance in terms of, you know, like pay equity, things of that nature. But
I feel like in the industry that I'm in, it's pretty closed off, and I would say there's a lot of women working in that industry. So, I mean, I didn't really notice a lot of, like, inequality, but, like, the companies that, like, for being a cake decorator, they're really small, so it's not like it's a big company.
Got it.
You know, you have different people. It's usually just, like, one decorator, one baker.
Got it.
And everything's pretty transparent.
Cool.
So, like, I haven't had to deal with that yet.
That's good. I mean, I think landscape matters for sure.
Yeah. I think in other companies, like, it might be different, but
for sure.
For me.
Yeah. So, what's like your favorite type of cake to like bake?
This one, the Thirst cheesecake.
Yeah.
Because it's really easy. Like, for me, like, there's a lot of cakes I'll spend like 10, 12 hours working on. This one I can do it in 2 hours. So it's nice to catch a little break, and it tastes really good. So I love doing that.
Yeah, it smells
Yeah.
Or we want to try it, bro.
Yeah.
He keeps looking at it.
Yeah.
Someone want to give him a slice? I don't know.
good. Okay. Nobody got a fork? No, I'm playing. But,
Yeah.
and I seen that you made a cake, you said, for artist.
Yeah, so I actually made a cake for Lizzo. I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I made a cake for her
That's dope.
a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool. It was a really cool experience.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So I want to ask because being that I guess you're kind of independent, right? Independent contractor, you're going to call it that, similar.
Mm-hmm.
I think networking, I would assume networking is very important, right?
Yes.
So how do you go about networking, right? Because, like in some industries, like they got conferences and all types of stuff where you're going to be around and other industry people.
Yeah.
In your industry specifically, or the food service industry, how would you go about networking?
So I think for us, mainly everything is pretty visual.
Okay.
So it's definitely like, if you post a lot of pictures on Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook, people love that. Another way that we network, I think it's just like if you bring a really nice cake to an event and there's going to be a lot of people, you just pass out your card and like, oh, hey, make a cake. And that's pretty much like what I do. But I think that now that I'm really like actually doing it for myself full time with my business, I need to like put myself out there even more and start going to random networking events.
No, for sure.
Like even if it's not just a party, but just go because everybody needs cake. So
I'm
I'm not gonna lie. I'll be at like weddings and I'll see a cake and I'll see like, damn, like it took some time to make. You know what I'm saying? It's like some really like elegant cakes. And I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
I like picture like 10 people just like working on
one cake.
Yeah.
It is. Like at a bakery, there's you have a baker, you have the dishwasher, you have the person who takes the order, and you have the person who decorates the order, you have the person who makes the frosting. So it is like a lot of people. But now that I'm doing it all by myself, it's just me doing everything, which is a lot.
Definitely. No, I'm excited for what's to come as well, right?
Thank you.
And I think you also touched on it, putting yourself out there more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you should do a web series. That'd be dope. I don't know, because I think it's important to you got to document.
Yeah.
We live in an era now where it's like if people don't see it, they don't believe it.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it would be dope to document it, and really just kind of like that, like the gig you had with Lizzo and things like that. Like I think it's important for people to see that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody like how do you approach making a cake? Like if I was like I want a cake for my birthday, like what would be the questions like you asked me, or like what would like that dialogue be like?
Yeah. So the first question I'd probably ask is what's the date? When is it?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will hit me up like the day before, like, oh, can you make a cake? Like that happened to me today, and I was like, I guess. But it's not really like ideal, but I like to know the date. How many people, how big do you want the cake? And then a new one that I think I'm going to start throwing in there is what's your budget? Because like a lot of people, like they'll send me pictures of really nice fancy cakes, but then they're surprised when I give them the quote for it.
Yeah.
So that's another question that I ask. So once we figure out all the information, I send them a quote. They either take it or they leave it. And then I get started on the order, like a couple of days before. Like I'll start baking, start making all my frostings and fillings. The day before is usually when I decorate it and put it together, and then the day of, like I either deliver or they pick it up. Yeah, but it's a couple days. It's not just like you can't order a cake for tomorrow and then I just put it in my oven. And I make everything from scratch. So I make all my frostings and everything. So it's a process. Yeah.
They need to know.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just there's a lot of prep to it.
Yeah.
What it sounds like.
Wow. That's dope. Hell
and then also another big thing that a lot of people don't realize is like not consulting with clients, but just potential clients, like going back and forth with them, like figuring out what they want is a lot of work. Like sometimes I've spent like an hour or two talking to people for free, like of my time, and that's part of the job too. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think
to get that order.
it does take, but it takes like kind of going through those experiences to kind of really
Realize
structure your business model,
Yeah.
and like how you want to go about doing things, right?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
you know
I'm
what I
learning.
mean?
It's just like family and then friends
Got
and then friends of friends and then just slowly like growing like into like this web of like more people. So
Yeah.
like I'll get like messages from people and they're like, oh, I'm so and so's like cousin or friend. So it's cool to see like my business like growing like that.
Yeah.
Because like it right now, like this at first the circle is really small, now it's just really big.
Oh, yeah.
It's like people that I don't know, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this is so cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, how did you hear about me? So
Word of mouth, man.
that's like really cool. Yeah,
Word of mouth.
I love that part. Like it gets me really excited when
Yeah.
somebody. Yeah,
Word of mouth is still one of the most effective
It is.
ways of marketing for sure.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
not definitely.
but I definitely do think I need to put myself out there more. So
Yeah,
I
for
can
sure. You,
just,
you about to do that web series, right? No, I'm just gonna keep putting it out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it'd be dope.
it would. Yeah.
Yeah, and also what we like to do as well is provide our guests opportunity to maybe talk about things that you guys coming up on the horizon as well.
Mhm.
Things people can be looking forward to. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you're going to be pulling up at a lot of different events with your cakes. But
Yeah.
if there's anything you want people to know about announcements, things like that.
For now, like I think I just need to focus on like getting my business together
Yeah.
and like organized and like
For sure.
with every order, like I'm slowly like or quickly learning like how to do things. So I think like in the future, like what you can see for me is just a better like just a better way of like dealing with
Yeah.
clients and
Yeah.
customers and like how to handle things. 'Cause
Yeah.
there's just like little issues that come up. But I think that in the future I'm gonna get better at that. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
just communicating with
handling
people
orders. Yeah.
and responding to quotes. Like that's like the biggest thing for me right now that
Yeah.
I like struggle with. So I would like to make that easier for people to figure out like, if they come to my page and they want a cake, like make it easier for them to know what to do
Yeah.
before we start talking.
Yeah.
So I think I just need to work on structuring
That's dope.
some of those things
That's
right
dope.
now.
It's a good
Yeah.
problem. It's a good problem to have when you have so many orders. You're like, all right, how can I handle this?
It would just make it easier. Like I need to like streamline it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's better for
Yeah.
me and
No,
better for
definitely.
the customers. So
Definitely.
No,
and then, I think
It's a
people
blessing
would
for
be,
sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think people would like that because I think a lot of people are just confused. They're like, oh, I want this
Yeah,
cake.
you gotta educate them,
What
man.
do I do?
You gotta teach them.
Yeah.
You gotta teach them. I'm
So-
learning too. Like I didn't know a lot
Yeah.
about the cake industry, but now I know.
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think
so-
like I want to do some like specials for like, people so they can try out my stuff. And so that's something that I'm working on. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Mhm.
I love it.
So, where can people find you?
Right now I have an Instagram page.
Hey.
Yes, that's it.
All right.
My website is under construction.
Okay, great.
Yes.
What's the handle?
What's the handle?
Huh?
What's the Instagram handle?
Oh,
for the
Sweetpeas Cakes.
people? Okay.
Sweetpeas Cakes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I always ask this question for all our guests to kind of cap off the show. It kind of sums up everything we discussed as well as, cast what's ahead. So if you can, what's one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up?
I would say passion.
Mm.
Having a passion for what you do because I don't think like a lot of people would not do this because it is not fun. Like the end result is fun. Maybe like the last part, like decorating is fun, but everything else is a lot of work. So I think that if you have a passion for what you're doing, you're always going to move up.
Mm.
Yeah.
You want to move on to up and up? Is that what you said?
Yeah, up and up.
Oh man, that's dope. That's dope. Have we got passion before?
That's what I was saying. I don't think we ever had.
Yeah, okay. It's the first time we got passion for one word. That's dope. Well, again, thank you for coming to the show first and foremost. We appreciate it. We appreciate the work you're doing as well. We'll make sure people go and tap in and follow follow the movement, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you drop that web series like I was telling you. I want to see that. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
It's the last time I'm suggesting.
All right, bro.
But yeah, outside of that, much success to you
Thank
moving
you.
forward. You got support from us, so whatever you need, just let us know. Right?
Yeah.
Anything else, Herb?
I might need a cake for my birthday. Yeah.
I felt like that's what you were getting at earlier with that question. He's like, so if you want to do someone's birthday. He was like, yeah.
I know.
She got you, bro.
I
She
know.
got you.
I got like 10 more months or whatever. Just
For sure, for sure. Well, with that being said, I think it's safe to say that Jennifer Jones and Sweetpeas Cakes are officially members of the Up and Up.